We're going to be adding and subtracting integers. There's a few different methods for adding and subtracting integers. I'm going to use a graphic model, which is called the t-chart. You're welcome to use any method that you like. How the t-chart works is that I have a positive and I have a negative column. If it's positive, I put the numbers right here. If it's negative, I put the numbers right here. When the numbers are on the same side, we add them. When they're on different sides, we subtract them. So let me give you an example. I have my chart. I have a -7. I have a +2. Since they're on opposite sides, that means I subtract. The larger number is negative, so it's -5. So looking at the next one, I have a positive and a negative. +8, -4. They're on different sides. I subtract. The larger one is positive, so I know that it's a +4. Now looking at the next one, I have my chart. I have a -6. I have a +10. They're on different sides, so I subtract them. The larger number is positive, so I know that it's a +4. Looking at the next one, I make my chart. I have a -5. I have a -3. They're on the same side, so I add them up, and that gives me a -8. Looking right here, this is just our normal 1 plus 9, so hopefully you automatically knew that it was 10. Now remember, you can use any method that you want. You don't have to use this method if you don't like it. If you have another way that works, that's totally fine. I want you to pause this right now and work on the next 5, and then we'll work on subtracting. So let's look at our answers. Once again, I'm going to be using the chart. You don't have to use the chart. I have a 6 and a -4. Different sides. The larger one is positive, so I know it's going to be a 2. I'm hoping you know that 9 plus 3 gives us a 12. Here I have a -2. I have a 5. They're on different sides, so I subtract. The larger one being positive, so I know that it's a +3. For the next one, I have a -8. I have a 7. The larger one is negative, so my answer is -1. And for this one right here, I have a -1 and a -7. Those are on the same side, so they add up to -8. Now we're going to be looking at subtracting. Subtracting, we're going to do the same thing. With the subtracting, we're going to use the same chart. We have our positives and negatives. So I have a +6. Now this subtraction, I'm going to think of as a -3. So that's going to be -3. So -3 and -3 are the same. So this right here gives me a 3 because they're on different sides, so I subtract. I have a +12. This is a little tricky. If you're looking right here, we see two negatives, and we remember that a negative and a negative make a positive. So this right here is a +8. And when we add that up, because they're on the same side, that gives us a 20. I have a +4. I have, remember, subtracting 7 is the same as a -7, and that gives me -3. For the next one, I have a +3. Remember, when we subtract a negative and a negative times a negative is a positive. So this is a +3. They're on the same side, so I'm going to be adding them, and I get a 6. Looking at this one, I have a -9. -12 is the same thing as -12. They're on the same side, so I'm adding them up, and I get negative 21. Once again, any method that you like to use, if you've used methods in the past that are much more effective than this, then please use it. Try these next 5. Just pause the video and try them on your own, and then you'll see how you do. Let's look at these 5. Once again, I'm going to use the chart, but you don't have to. If you're getting the right answer on each one of these, that's excellent. So I have a negative 12, negative 10, because subtracting 10 is the same as a negative 10, and that gives us negative 22. Here, what we have is a negative 4. Now, if we're looking right here, when we subtract a negative, remember, it becomes a positive. So that would be a positive 4. They're on different sides, so that means I subtract. 4 minus 4 is 0, so my answer is 0. For the next one, I have a positive 7. Remember, if we subtract 4, that's the same as a negative 4. Different sides. The larger one is positive, so my answer is positive. I have a positive 8. Subtract 14 is the same as a negative 14. When I subtract it, the larger one is negative, so that means my answer is negative. And when I subtract it, I get a 6. And for the last one, I have a positive 5. I have a negative 8. They're on different sides, so I know I subtract. The larger one is negative, so that's a negative 3.